I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting to kind of bring back a culture of actually doing things that, like, it feels like I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have see signs of hope now that, we have Audionals.
Hi, so welcome back. Another week on the Audionals show. It's been a busy week, interesting week. Lots of stuff going on in the markets and outside, and for us at Audionals, and also working on this new collaborative collection, the OB1s. And so we've had a very interesting week talking about that, talking about what we're doing, showing people the the SPD, which allows people to trigger on-chain samples just by touching them, looping up audio from the chain into new songs. And a lot of this can be done because of the technology that's built into these new Audional works of art, is Audionals 2.0 technology, which is utilizing the original Audionals base 64 text encoded audio samples, but now embedded in HTML files with their own sets of controls and utilities. They have built-in timing mechanisms, built-in pitch and playback speed, and this is something that's going to grow over time, and there's going to be more and more utility built into these. But these very high resolution audio files that we're inscribing as we go are going to provide an audio seed for a perpetual future of on-chain music production, where no one will ever have to pay those fees to inscribe audio samples that are as big as 350 kilobytes for a single drum hit, because they can keep reusing these ones, and they can actually then reinscribe the music that utilizes this audio as a series of very small, low byte size files that simply reference these audio files, just as you might save a song file in a platform like Logic or other music production software. It's a very, very small file. You don't have to save all the audio or all the plugins or all the other elements you're using in the file. It's just a little text file that explains to the system it's loading on where to find all the audio files, where to find all the effects, all the plugins, how to load all the settings that are being used on those plugins, which audio files are being routed through which plugins. And then when you press play, all of these instructions come together and you hear what sounds like an organized song, but it's all still programmatically pieced together. And that's what we've been doing with Audionals and with the sequencer and with now the SPD. And it's been really great that people have started using it. Just this last week, we had some really amazing engagement from the Build Oasis team, who are building a really very intriguing what do you even call this? It's in the name, I guess. But they're building a very interesting sort of community over there, which is really setting itself apart with some really interesting tweets, really interesting philosophy. It very much seems to be something that I think resonates with a lot of people about the future and what a future involves with the decentralized controls that we have now and the abilities to live more easily sort of outside of the system. So it's going to be really interesting to see where these things go. But they, I think they also see the value in what we're doing here with Audionals. It's building a protocol really that anyone can use. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to build on this network and create and not be bound by the confines of memory issues. If we can get some of this stuff out of the way now while transactions are still not completely out of the realm of possibility to inscribe sort of ordinals of the maximum 350 or 400 kilobyte size, so that in the future it doesn't have to be done. We can rely on these audio samples. I think some people don't quite realize how much audio is actually reused. Certainly in the world of EDM, music that's produced that uses loops, a lot of these loops are made of the same original drum sound that's been processed and then placed in a loop and has been used in many different songs. It's passed through the hands of producer after producer and artist after artist, and that's what happens in the real world, and that's what can happen in the Web3 world, except every time it is passed from hand to hand, from artist to artist, from producer to producer, from song to song, there is a thread, a Merkle tree, on-chain thread that will link every single loop and alternative sounding drum sound that is generated from, for example, the 808 kick drum that is the Obi-Wan #1 inscription. It will always lead back to that inscription, no matter how many songs or remixes it's used in, how many plugins it's passed through, plugins that don't even exist yet on chain, but will one day be part of a signal chain that processes this kick drum to make it sound bigger or deeper or wider or moving around in the space, and I'll get to that in a minute. All of this starts with a single well-recorded audio seed, such as the 100 seeds that the Obi-Wan collection is carefully selecting and planting. And each of these seeds not only lives on chain, offers not only its owner an infinite ongoing attribution for every single use case, every single use of that sample. So let's keep with the 808 kick drum Obi-Wan #1. The holder of that NFT will be a part of the DNA of every single song that uses that drum or a derivative of that drum forever. And no one can take that away. That thread will be there, because every time someone uses it in 100 years' time, someone's using a version of this drum that has passed through the hands of 50 different producers. It's been used in hundreds of different songs, hit songs. Every single time it is played, there is a few milliseconds of processing as this kick drum goes through that 50-year or that 100-year journey of all of these different processes until it gets to the current sound that is being used in 100 years' time. And that is the simplicity of what's going on here. That original kick drum sample is still the first point of that execution. So when someone plays that song, the first thing that happens on that kick drum channel is it basically plays that original kick drum into these reverb units and these effects and these gates and compressors, subs. All this processing goes on until it gets to the modern day, a 100-year journey that takes place in around 20 milliseconds, and will continue to do so over the following 100 years. And perhaps that processing time might get to 30 or 40 milliseconds after it's got 100 years of use case. But I think you get the point. This Merkle tree is unbreakable, and that works not only for the samples, but for the songwriters, for the people who build the applications, like the reverbs, the synthesizers. Any element that is used in the song's production becomes an on-chain element that lives in a wallet. Nothing on-chain doesn't live in a wallet. If something is on-chain, there is a wallet associated with that item. And so once we put the entire music production platform process on-chain, including not just the audio, but every aspect of the production, eventually through to the mastering programs and channel flows as well, until we have fully mixed and mastered music hits that are conceived, produced, distributed, consumed, and live forever on chain, on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's not a short-term vision that we've got here, but in the short term there's a lot of fun to be had. But I'm just going to start out by just playing a couple of these tracks that some other people made this week, because it's really it made me very happy just that there's some other content, because I think this is show 16. I think I did about 6 shows of the on-chain melody show before we renamed it the Audionals show, and all this time I've been playing songs from the chain, songs that were inscribed in the early days, songs that have had heavy bitrate reduction, compression applied, songs that don't sound as full and as big as they should. And now here we have, with the Audionals platform, we have now the tools for a new renaissance of on-chain music, where we can now expect full high resolution quality like we expect coming out of every other music studio, but imbued with the power of blockchain. Let me just fade to this other page that I queued up. Is this it? Yeah. So this is Build Oasis, and this is the awesome clip they've made last week to not only promote their ideals, but also to show something that they see as having value, being a decentralized music production platform. So yeah, check this out.
given government is political power, and political power is an official form of antagonizing the people. Antagonizing the people. Antagonizing the people. Antagonizing the people. People.
He's back.
Am I free to travel?
Of course you're free to travel.
Only with a passport. Only with a passport. Only with a passport. Only with a passport. The Roman Empire collapsed with the assassination of Caesar. And why? Because of too much power. People. Feudalism blew up with the French Revolution. And why? Because of too much power. People. And today the whole world will blow up. And why?
Because of too much power.
People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power. People. Power.
How good is that? I just think that's so cool. But anyway, yeah. So underneath this, that someone else, I think from the team as well, added another cool mix, which I'm going to play now. How am I going to play that one right? Oh, it sounds like it's going somewhere, that one, doesn't it? Oh, pause that. Sounds like it's about to kick off. There was one more as well, by Juice, wasn't it? More goof. Yeah, let's see if we can find this one, because this one also, in fact, Morgufa did some cool stuff. He did an SPD remix, and also, where did he put it though? I guess I must have retweeted it or something. Oh, but he did this one. It was killer. It was like showing off the bass, because I was so impressed with the bass that he had put in there that I retweeted it, and then he he turned it up even more with this. In fact, I think he created what looked a bit like some kind of ad for the Audionals show. I'm still trying to find it here. Come on. Yeah, it was super cool. It was showing off the. Oh, I think this is it. Is that it? No. It was showing off the SPD, but also showing off how much low end you can get out of it. You know, low end you're not necessarily expecting, having maybe listened to other Audional works. I can see. I saw Morgufa's name there a second ago. Oh, there we go. Here we are. So, oh, pause that. How do we get back to that page now? Is it this one? Yes. We'll go to that one. Okay. Here we go. So let's premiere juice.btc mix on the Audional SPD. Let's have a listen. Yes, how good is that? But that's not even the one. That's not the one I was thinking of. Let's see, did he do another one in here? Because he totally did another. How do I find it? He did another version which was really showing off the bass in there. Must be in here somewhere. Oh, what's this one? No, that's everyone that's coming up. Yeah, so I guess while I'm looking, might as well start to talk about the other very exciting thing that we have been doing. I think some people might remember way back in the early Audionals days when On-Chain Monkey inscribed the 3JS library. That was super exciting. I was super excited at the time because I was working on some kind of 3D stuff. I was kind of trying to build my own mini library so I could just do kind of what I needed to do because the library was so large. But it was so exciting to hear that they had inscribed it. And then, you know, looking over the last few weeks at some of the other libraries that have been inscribed, P5, there's quite a few really cool libraries that have made artists' jobs much easier, much more convenient in creating art, creating really good looking art, high quality images, movement, animation. That movement has done a lot for what we're seeing on Audionals now, but not much has been done audio wise. I remember in a few chats a while ago kind of fantasizing about someone inscribing tone.js. It's a 384 kilobyte file, and what it would allow is some pretty serious cool stuff for music, not just musicians but for music platform builders, because this is a tool that can be used by developers to very quickly and easily utilize parts of the library, different parts of the library, to do some very cool things, multiple oscillators, synthesizers, effects, all of these things that I've been talking about. This library will facilitate very easy building of those applications. People who are getting into using GPT, you'd be surprised at just, you know, less than 100 lines, sometimes less than 50 lines, you can create a synthesizer or a basic reverb unit, or you know, the sky's the limit. But having this library takes out a lot of the headaches for people who might not be so good with code. This really simplifies it. So yeah, I'm just very excited to say that that's what we've done. We've inscribed the tone.js library. Not only that, we're doing it obviously in super cool fashion. It's inscribed as an ordinal piece of art, so it has it's part of the Obi-Wan collection. It's got its own Obi-Wan PFP. It's got the same functions as the rest of the collection. Obviously, it was very hard squeezing all these things into a single ordinal inscription, because everything is still currently non-recursive. Everything is internal. This inscribing of the library within the collection is going to change that, because now we can obviously utilize it within the collection, but this also means anyone in the world will also be able to access this library, and it'll have a lovely PFP, and it'll be a visual feast, as well as being something that has extreme utility both within the Obi-Wan collection, as well as for Audionals, and as well as for other builders in the future who want the hard work taken out of building audio applications on chain. So yeah, there's going to be a new ordinal Obi-Wan inscription. You'll see it soon. It's got its own built-in sound. It's got all the same properties as every other Obi-Wan. It's got its own built-in timing and pitch controls, as well as animation audio, an animated PFP, and this incredible full tone.js library that it will hand out in its full non-compressed form to any application that asks. So it's making the chain a easier place for builders of audio and music applications to start to thrive. And one of the other things that's really cool about the tone.js is it allows for some spatial control, and so you're able to move audio samples around in a space. I don't know if people have played around with binaural recordings, and this is something that we might even include some elements of within the Obi-Wan collection. But if you've ever played around with binaural recordings, you can record something happening behind the binaural microphone, which is effectively a microphone. It's in the shape of a human head, and the microphones are actually placed in the ears, so you're hearing it very much as a human head, a generic human head would hear the sound that bounces around the head and off the different parts of the ear before it gets to the eardrum. And it's quite disarming. The first time I listened to it, I'm pretty sure I heard a door open, and I sprung up because I thought the door next to me had opened. Even though I was there listening to a binaural recording, kind of expecting these things, the actual reality of the sound feeling so genuinely real, it got me out of my seat. And so imagine what we can do with ordinal games and things when we can use the Obi-Wan tone.js library code to start not only playing around with the sounds that we're creating as well as synthesizing, but to start to move them around in a three-dimensional space, so people who are wearing headphones can experience something again altogether new and high tech on chain as part of an Ordinals experience. I think, again, this is just scratching the surface, and all I'm really talking about here is the fact that we've inscribed the library that's going to make all this possible. This isn't even stuff that we're planning on working on. We're certainly going to utilize some aspects of the library, but again, a lot of the stuff that the library does, we have in fact already, without the library, built these things into the Obi-Wan collection. The Audional 2.0 technology has already kind of got every single audio sample is in effect its own standalone sequencing application. You know, it's got its own steps. It can decide how often it wants to be played on which steps, and then it will just play them in perpetuity as part of a song or anything. But this is it's very, I can't really express how cutting edge this technology is, but to think that it's on chain already, that this is on chain and it has with it these incredible powers. That means if you do anything with this, if you own this audio or you inscribe a composition, you've just baked your attribution in for life. Because any time that is used in another on-chain production, or it's reused in any other distribution, there's no way that they can hide that from you. Whether this this then translates into royalties is going to rely really on some real world factors. But in terms of what we can do as communities by taking that attribution and ensuring that it is somehow included in the financial contracts for mints, then we can really start to build this thing in our communities without having any expectations on the real world, where we know there are forces that are dead set against this. The labels and the big three, who control everything, who control Spotify, and are almost getting to the point of becoming universal licensees for being a musician. If you want to be a musician, you have to get a license from Sony, Warner, or Universal. That's the world they would like, but we now have this opportunity to quite quickly tear that back and take control of it. But it does involve us embracing working within this new realm, insisting that our music that we produce within the Web3 environment is distributed and consumed within the Web3 environment. If someone wants to play it on the radio, they have to broadcast their copy. They have to execute the ordinal file that they own and play that programmatically assembled song as part of their broadcast. They can't just take a recording. And if we start to both produce and enforce these rules upon people using or consuming the music, faster and faster this system becomes the accepted system, and then eventually the real world, the performing rights organizations around the world will take note and realize that this is the solution they've been looking for, and then it can really become official. But until then, we can have a lot of fun innovating and distributing new on-chain Web3 music, and all being part of a genesis moment. I don't think anyone can really underestimate the kind of enormity of going through this moment where we're setting the scene for how to produce on-chain music and distribute it, how to give full sovereignty and transparency to musicians of the future. And we are experiencing the genesis, and that means that these products, these collections, these sounds that we are spending money to inscribe as genuine audio relics that can be reused forever can't be understated, because even with 100 samples in a single collection, 100 high quality, broadly styled instruments and sounds, the amount of songs that can produce is it's one of those exponential things. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's already just with 10 samples that were kind of created to create one sort of genre, one style. It's amazing how many different sounds people have come up with. I'm still looking for this one from Juice, but to think once we've got 100 samples on there, and again with additional plugins, I don't know how much more audio the future generations will really need, because like I said, once you're processing this audio and playing around with it, it creates more audio, but it's not audio that you have to inscribe. It's now programmatic audio. It's now just running through on-chain elements, just as you would do if you were playing with plugins at home. So I think shortly, if I can't find this, I'm just going to have to... it's a shame. I don't know if it happened a long time ago. Maybe it did. Because I was going to go over to the Obi-Wan Discord to have a chat with based.obi1, who I've been working with for the last few months, building the Obi-Wan collection, and also with the artist, who shall remain anonymous, but is a very impressive part of the team, and also has, I've obviously had a bit of a sneak preview of some of the artwork coming up, and it's really fantastic. So there's a few moving parts to this, but let's see if I can connect firstly to the Obi-Wan Discord, and then whether the sound is going to come through. Let's see what happens here. Oh, let's go back to the Discord there, into here. It looks like, oh, there's based. Let's go back in here. So can you hear me? Can we hear you?
Yo.
Hey, there you are. How's it going?
How's it going?
Awesome.
Good. Just working up a bit, feeling a bit under the weather or something. But I am going to. Sorry, I just kind of missed what you were saying.
I was just saying that I would because of my setup, I did say to Base, I said, you're not going to hear me at all until suddenly I turn up and go, hey, we're live, because I can't actually hear the Discord stream at the moment until I come in here. But yeah, maybe if you want to get set up, I don't know if you wanted to do any screen sharing, or maybe I can show collection stuff from this side otherwise, just to sort of introduce the collection and the art to people who are listening to the show who haven't maybe seen it yet.
Yep. I will do that. So I'll get the screen share going. Is that coming up?
Let me see. Yeah. Yes, I need to click the watch the stream, I think. There we go. Yes, we are in. Okay.
Cool. So, the first one has been. Okay, well, the first one is not there right now because it's going to be auctioned.
Oh, I see. So when an auction happens, the actual inscription goes into. So it's Magic Eden, isn't it, where the auction is happening? Is that right?
Yeah.
And so they take it into a special auction wallet, and that's how the auction takes place, is it?
Yeah. So I've just sent that off. I wish I had that ready. Shit. That's annoying.
Do I need to cut to a commercial?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Not ready.
I can go and play some music if you want me to come back.
Yeah, I just would like to get the first one up.
Well, why don't I just go and have like a jam for a couple of minutes, and then I'll come back after I've either succeeded or failed in playing something off the SPD.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, do that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
All good. Right, so I got to go to. Where do I go to? Which one is? I think it's going to be one of these guys, or this one, or this one. Oh, I keep changing all of the pages. Right. Okay, let's try this guy. So if I fade back to there, and then. Need to do is just leave a page open with the sequencer or the SPD and not do this. I need to be more organized with my setting up of windows. But so, okay, so let's just load it in here then. So Audional SPD, there we go. So this is the SPD for those who haven't seen it. It's loading in the first 10 OB1s. I've just kind of got a random I've just got a selection of this is the kick, is the first one. This is the 808 kick, so this is OB1 number 1. So that's the that's the 808, and then we've got the 808 snare and hat. Then we've got a clap, a crash. You can appreciate that one if I slow this down a bit. Like you can, that is a WAV recording. That's quite a long, for a WAV file. That was quite a decent sized file. Really had to do a lot of work to compress that down to get it to fit in a single inscription along with art and all of its inbuilt controls. And then we've got 3 sort of synth lines. I say 3. I should have thought those 2 out a bit better. But anyway, so these ones you can pitch them. So you've got this sound that's playing here, and because of its inbuilt controls, we can change the tone by using some hotkeys. Or you can see over here on the right in the menu, we've got some things over here that we can change. So I can change, for example, the playback speed or the pitch by clicking these buttons here. So that's just adjusting the playback speed, but I can also adjust the loop length to make it play faster or slower within the loop. And so we've also got a space bar. You can use the space bar to play something live. And so then, we've got these synths, and then we've got these sort of nice hard, heavy kick drum and a snare. And then I added this random mix function, which was just to create a bit of fun, which basically populates all 36 pads with a random selection of OB1s, all with random settings of pitch and loop speed. And so you end up with this kind of Russian roulette of SPDs, but you just get this, you just push the random button. Let's go through it. I was just going to have a little jam on here. Sometimes you can really hit it. Other times it's a bit harder. Let's have a look. Is this the one? No, I'm in the wrong page there, aren't I? Okay, so just take that into there. Okay. So, oh, I can see you've got a bit of a weird image there. I think this is us, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just have a little play for a bit and then we'll cut back to paste. I'm just utilizing the built-in mute controls. This is part of like producing the tune, so you can select any pad can be added to a mute group or a solo group or an effect group of some sort, allowing you to kind of control what's being heard. But again, this is all still playing live directly from the Bitcoin blockchain. I'm going to try and let's go back over and just check in on the Discord and see if Based is ready to go over there. Okay, let's go. I can hear you. Hey, dude.
Yep.
Yep, we are back. How's it going?
Cool. Good. So I have got the first OB1 here, which has the 808 kick inscribed, which I'm sure you showed. I don't know if the sound will come through. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So it's got the 808 kick. It's also inscribed on block 78 palindrome sats. So not only is it block 78, but the sat number reads the same forward to back. So it adds a little bit more rarity there.
Oh yeah, so the palindrome all the way across. It's an 808 on a palindrome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So 808 is also a palindrome. So yeah, that's why we thought it fit very well. We wanted the first OB1 to be, a bit more exclusive or special. So we come up with that. And that's going to be the first auction at Magic Eden this week. So then we have, this is probably in the wrong order. Anyway, so we have the clap, 808 clap. So these are all on blocks 78. There's actually 7,887 block 78 sats in these OB1s.
So sorry, these I'm still following along with the with all these bits. So this has a collection of like uncommon sats as part of the single file. Is that right?
Yeah. So normally an inscription has 546 just normal sats as like padding for each ordinal. It's 546 as like a minimum. So we've got I've literally got 7,887 block 78s inside each of these instead of using like common sats or anything.
So that's also a palindrome, right?
Yeah, so 7887, also a palindrome.
Excellent.
Just a little added detail I've put in there.
That's awesome because you hear people talking about how the value is in like how much file size you're using, but of course this collection is doubling down on not only providing great value in like the most amount of data, vision, sound that can be fit into a single inscription, but also giving it to you on rare sats. It's been very well thought out. It's lovely.
And then if, say, in the future, block 78 sats are like a lot more scarce, you could actually extract some of these sats out of your OB1 and use them for your own stuff. But I'm also wondering like how it will go. So like if there's an OB1 for sale that still has the 7887 block 78 sats, I'm guessing it would sell for more than one that has been extracted as well. So yeah, it's kind of like you choose your own fate for your OB1 as well, which I thought was kind of cool.
So it's like you get this OB1 that's got this value, and can you extract the value without losing or like reducing the value of the underlying piece? Interesting.
Yeah. So I've thrown that in just to kind of see what happens as well. Like it's a new thing. No one has really done that. But even just having the the palindrome 7887, like it's not a big deal, but some people might think it's a big deal in 5 years or something. So yeah, I just chucked it in. So that's the clap. This is the snare, 808 snare. Also the block 78s. So all of these based ones, besides this guy, are on 7,887 block 78 sats. And then every 10th one will be on some extra special sats like this guy. So yeah, we have the crash. It's actually cool. You can make it go a lot longer or shorter, like choking the crash symbol. And we have mummy, which is the hi-hat. Also block 78. So all of them will be, all of them except for every 10th, but also number 1 is on the block 78 palindrome. These guys are cool. I actually like to change the pitch on these. I think it's pretty cool. That's another one. And oh, sorry, I missed this guy. This one's actually really nice. So you get a lot of different sounds out of these three. And the hard kick. Which is also a nice one. And this is number 10, which is a tribute to Pepe. Now it's actually on, you can't see on here, but there's another butterfly here for uniform palinception pizza sat. So it's actually a sat with 3 palindromes inside of 1 palindrome. So it's actually like 26062 is 1, and then you've got 2143412 is another one, and then 26062 again, but also 260621443 is 1 palindrome, and then that's a palindrome. So yeah, it's pretty cool combination of numbers that some people don't realize, but it's actually very rare to have a uniform palinception. And it's also a pizza there, it's also pizza sat as well. So, and then the padding, so the padding is also pizza, just normal pizza sats as well. And yeah, that's the hard snare. The animation on that one is also different to the based ones. And
yeah, the
this
two based ones
animation,
both have a 1 of 1 animation, don't they? Yeah, they've both got a unique animation. Number 1 and number 10 have a unique built-in animation, and the rest of them have a kind of shake animation, so you can see everything as it's playing.
Yep. So yeah, that's also the added feature to, we call them very based for the every 10th and number 1. we call them very based. So yeah, they'll have a unique animation, special sat, and the sound has been carefully picked as well. So yeah, oops. So yeah, basically that is the first 10 out of 100. So there will be 100 of these. We're not going to show too many of them as we are slowly rolling them out and auctioning them off, starting with number 1 here. The artist is also anonymous currently, but will be revealed at a later date throughout the art reveal, like so. Yeah, it's somebody that you guys will know in the space, and they are very in tune with the project and what we're aiming for. So they're actually very good with music. They're a musician, producer, artist, crypto artist. Yeah, so I think it's going to be really cool once everyone actually finds out who they are as well, because yeah, the artwork is actually insane, and that's why we don't want to show too much as we go. So yeah, I have also confirmed with Magic Eden the auction for it ends up being the 8th of March, 3 a.m. UTC, but is the 7th of March, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, it's coming up very soon.
Cool.
Yes.
I might just show quickly, show everyone how these how these work in the tabs, just to sort of show off the timing mechanisms. Let me just bring this across. So if you look here, I'm just opening this on aud.io, and if we look at these first few here, so I can open them in different tabs. Let me just move this down a bit so you can sort of see the tabs. And then you'll see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to open these in different tabs. These samples, they're not synced in any way. There's no like clock that's being shared between them, anything like that. All there is a very robust embedded timing mechanism built within each one. Each one is in its own right a very basic audio workstation with its own inbuilt utilities for changing things like its tone. So if we load them up in different, so if I'll take we'll go, we haven't got the number 1 here because it's gone into the auction wallet. So anyway, so I'll start with this big kick, and then the hat, and the little snare, and then the clap, and then we'll have a couple of synths, and we've got the crash and the big snare. So if I now go in, and I could even go to the synth, I could have multiple synths open. So I've got a couple of these open, so we could set one up to play a slow loop of a particular note, and we could maybe set the hat in here so we can hear the timing. Then we'll go and find the other. We'll go and find the other synth. Yeah, so there you go. And I've left this playing overnight, walked away from it, and came back in the morning, and it was still playing. So let me just stop these now. And the loop that you can play on here is up to 512 bars, which is at this tempo at 78 BPM. That's something like 26 minutes. So it's a 26-minute loop, effectively, that you can set up here. So yeah, so that just shown. Like I said, I've left that playing overnight. I've had it in different browsers as well, and the song was still in perfect sync when I came in the morning. So I've no doubt people can start to do some interesting things with this. Certainly when you bring the SPD into the equation. And you can also have multiple SPDs like this in multiple tabs as well. So you can have an SPD that is all your rhythm section, an SPD that is all your synths. I will eventually will add into the UI the ability to pick particular scales, pentatonic scales, and other useful ways to kind of tune your synths, so you're not having to do so much manually, so that they are kind of on the right notes, and then all you're doing is triggering them. And then there'll also be a record function so that we can start doing inscriptions, because again, the inscriptions for these songs are very, very small, so it's going to be a lot of fun piecing that together. So I'll just cut back into the Discord again and check in with bass, and I can see also Nat Atlas is in there, so maybe you guys might want to jump in. Yeah, so are you there, Nat? Are you able to jump in and chat?
I think I need to allow them.
Okay, yeah, we need to unmute his mic.
Unless he has.
He may have muted himself.
I think I've got it set to mute everyone. If I give. Ah, shit.
I mean, it looks like he's not. Maybe I can't unmute. He doesn't look like he's muted. I can mute him, unmute him there. I think it is his mic. I don't see any messages. Yeah. Anyway, that was quite a good roundup of the what we're working on, what's coming up. A very big opportunity for someone to buy a piece of history, to own a piece of history that not only is going to be part of a Genesis moment, but is actually going to be part of, lots of different songs moving forward. It's going to be attributed to, well, who knows how many future mixes that 808 kick drum is going to spawn, because it really is a one of a kind that nobody's going to need to reinscribe. They can just reuse that in perpetuity, thanks to the Obi-Wan collection. So it's going to be really interesting seeing what the bidding action is on that piece tomorrow.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to. I need to fix the permissions for that.
I mean, Nat hasn't sent me a message. I don't think he's
okay.
trying to get in. I haven't seen any messages.
That's alright. I'll make the roll for next time anyway.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to chat about before we wrap it?
No, I think that's everything. Yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, we'll leave it there. I'm going to go back to the animation here, and then I will come back to you shortly.
Yep. Awesome.
So yeah, thanks everyone for joining again, and hope you've enjoyed some of the stuff that we've shown you today. It really is proper cutting edge of what's possible with music on Bitcoin. Is where we're at right now. And so if you have ideas for music collections or new innovative NFT collections with sound elements that you want to collaborate on, then get in touch. The DMs are open, I think, on both Audionals and my personal Twitter. So get in touch, and always looking forward to working with people, certainly people with the same innovative pioneering spirit in the space. So get in touch and let's do some magic stuff together. So with that, I am going to cut back to the sequencer. That's kind of where all this began. It feels so old now. Yeah, the sequencer was the first thing that I kind of built with Audionals in mind, and the plan was to kind of build something that was a bit like what I used to use in my studio, which was a platform called Logic. So I wanted to kind of create something that felt like that for professional musicians, and so I built this, and I'm going to, the SPD and the sequencer will eventually be, I guess, what's the word? I'm going to bring them together so that the SPD can be opened within a channel in the sequencer, and then it can become another element within the sequencer, which actually makes it much easier to write songs the way that producers might be more accustomed to, by placing the hits rather than playing with loops. However, it's worth mentioning that the SPD, it does work on mobile and iPad, so you can have quite a lot of fun if you're at a loose end, stuck on a late train or a bus or a plane. Crack it out in the iPad, get some beats going, and play them to someone. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to close out just by playing the song that I created by combining lots of different ordinal elements in the 16-track sequencer, and then we will be back next week. So thanks again, and see you at the next one.
I definitely see signs of hope. It's now that, we have Audionals that are starting to kind of bring back.
Looks like I'm in the wrong window here. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's try that again. There we go.
I definitely see signs of hope. It's now that, we have Audionals that are starting to kind of bring back a culture of actually doing things that, like, it feels like I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. Now that, we have Audionals that are, I definitely see signs of hope. but